Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready for some competitive Days of Ruin games on this channel? This is one of the promises I made to you guys in my New Year's video. In 2025, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on Days of Ruin, because when the Grandmaster Live Advanced Wars tournament comes around in spring sometime of this year, DJs and I are going to be making it a Days of Ruin tournament. This has, to my knowledge, never been done before. I don't think there's been a big Days of Ruin live tournament ever hosted before, so we decided that we wanted to be the first to do that. You guys keep asking me to feature more Days of Ruin content on this channel, so I shall oblige you. This is from a site called Tiny Wars. It's a very good site. It is Japanese, but it has a very good auto-translation, so it should not be a problem for any of you to manage your way through it. Days of Ruin is a very different game compared to what you might be used to if you haven't played it before. I'm not going to be going over every single new mechanic in this game, but I'll try to point out differences where they occur. The base game is very similar to Advanced Wars, but the CO mechanics are very different. You have COs boarding into units, creating a zone around them. And a big part of the Days of Ruin metagame is managing your CO unit, trying to kill the opponent's CO unit before they can get their power, and just taking advantage of the aura around the CO unit to benefit yourself. It's a very, very complicated mechanic, and Days of Ruin, I think, is, generally speaking, a more complicated game. There's a lot more factors to consider, especially if you're playing Fog. We're not taking a look at a Fog game today, though. We're taking a look at a standard game today. I'm going to be hosting a Fog match soon, but I figured we'd start out a little bit more basic. So the player that submitted this game to me is Days of Plague, or just called Plague. He is the #1 ranked Days of Ruin player in the world, so we have a very, very high-end game on our hands right here. And he's up against a player called Dorchoas. I wanted to say Dorcas, but Dorchoas. So you can see he's pretty highly rated as well. Now, the COs that we're going to be taking a look at today, two of my favorite COs. Tabita. Oh, I love this girl. Tabita is very unique. Her CO zone is 0, which means that it only boosts her CO unit, at least initially. However, that CO zone is terrifying. It gives her 60% firepower and defense. Now, one thing to note in Days of Ruin is that defense is not as broken as in the other games. It is actually somewhat counteracted by firepower due to a different formula. It's way too complicated for me to explain it here, but just know that if you have 60% offense and you go up against a unit with 60% defense, they should cancel each other out, roughly. But yeah, Tabita is monstrous. She boards a tank. That tank now gets 60% firepower and defense. But you also have to keep in mind that she also ranks up her unit to max rank. So she actually gets a 20% boost on top of that. So actually her unit gets 80% firepower and defense. So she gets one incredibly strong unit. Now if she somehow manages to build up enough power charge to get her CO power, it is basically Meteor Strike. I mean, that's what it is. It's called Firestorm. But it's a Meteor Strike, it deals 8 HP of damage, but it also has the added benefit, and this goes for every CO in Days of Ruin. You get global CO zone for 1 turn. That means all of her units on the map gets an insane 60% firepower and defense. So if Tabita gets this power, you are in trouble. It is a very strong power. Now, Days of Plague, he's playing as Lyn. And you might be thinking, wow, Lyn in a non-Fog of War match? Isn't that like playing Sonya in Standard? Surely Lyn must be really bad. No, I talked to Plague, he assures me Lyn is actually a very viable pick in Standard as well. She has a very short CO zone of 1, so it only boosts her CO unit and the units around it, but she gives all units a standard 10% firepower and defense. This is universal for all zones, and in addition, her ground units gets an additional 20% firepower and defense. So it's a very good CO zone. Now, of course, her power, it kind of works like Sonya's power on Advanced Wars by Web. It gives her extra vision and reveals hiding places, but it also just boosts all of her units globally on the map. Not to the insane degree that Tabita does, but it's still very powerful. So, two very strong COs right here. Two of my favorite COs. The Days of Ruin COs are so pretty, aren't they? Like, whoever designed these COs really knew what they were doing. So, the map that they're playing on, I think it's called like Bidoot or Biboop or something. I forgot. It's all Advanced Wars competitive maps have stupid names. Very exposed or HQs right here. They're like almost in the middle. So this map is kind of like a base rush map because you have the top player has 2 bases to this player's 1, and it's the same here. You got 2 bases to the other player's 1. So you kind of have a, this is the strong side for the top player, this is the strong side for the bottom player. And usually you'll have like a base trade scenario where both players will just rush each other's bases, and then it becomes like a left-right battle with the HQs suddenly becoming the next target. Lots of new buildings here, though. We got the radar towers right here. These are very good in Fog of War because they grant 5 vision, similar to an infantry on a mountain. On a standard map, though, they're just regular buildings. They still give income, so they're still worth capturing. You also have these empty missile cells. I think one of the biggest differences with Days of Ruin is the cities have 2 defense stars instead of 3 now. However, woods have 3 defense stars. They've swapped woods and cities. Woods are actually better for defense in Days of Ruin, which is very interesting. You got these ruins, which are hiding places in Fog of War. Otherwise, they kind of just work like plain tiles. So, aside from that, I think everything is pretty much the same. You got empty missile silos here as well for 2 defense stars. And you got the roads and the plains and everything. There's also wasteland terrain, but I don't see any of that on this map right now, so I don't really think we have to deal with that. But that is just terrain that slows down everything but infantry units. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I say we get started. What I like about this site is that it actually has like an auto replay function with music and sound effects and everything, so I don't really have to do anything. I just have to commentate on the match. So let's get going. So, both players here, obviously, they're just going to be opening up infantry. Interesting to see Plague not going for this base immediately. He actually goes for the capture. So, Days of Ruin is inherently very different to Advanced Wars by Web because you have 2 kinds of infantry units, or 3 if you count the mechs, but no one cares about mechs. You have regular infantry, and you also have bikes. Bikes are faster moving infantry. They cost a little bit more, but they allow you to reach certain properties faster. But you do have to pay attention to the income, because infantry actually costs 1500 in this game. So you do have to be a little bit more careful. You can see Dortroas here actually goes straight for the base, whereas Plague is actually taking his time capturing here. But he goes straight for the property with this infantry instead, which is interesting. So we're going to see if any of the players are going to be deploying some bikes or if they're going to go infantry. This is probably one of the things that puzzles me the most when it comes to Days of Ruin competitive play is when do you build bikes, when do you build infantry? Because infantry are 1500, bikes are 2500. Bikes are of course a lot better because they move quicker, but sometimes it might just be better to build infantry and save up for vehicles, because if you pay 2500 for a bike, it does kind of add up. So you can see right here, Plague did deploy his first bike. You can see their movement range is pretty far. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move, which is a lot more than the infantry's 3. So he can reach this city right away. Bikes are also, they're not like immune, like they're not like recons. They still take damage from infantry units, but they are definitely a lot better against infantry than infantry is against them. So in like a straight up engagement, the bikes will win. So Dortroas here caps the airport. The airport is actually very exposed, as you can see right here. It's very close to the base. It's actually pretty easy to lock down with an anti-air. Plague goes again for the airport and deploys a second bike. He's probably going to use this bike, I imagine, yeah, to take this property right here. So we had 2 bikes out. Dortroas has not deployed a single bike as of yet. I think he might be saving up for an early vehicle for Tabita to board. So yeah, no, he's actually he built his first bike right here in the middle base. So we should pay attention to what unit the COs are going to be boarding into. Normally, at least in standard games, I believe the tank is the most common unit to board your CO into. So both players still just finalizing their captures. Dortroas moving pretty aggressively forward with this infantry right here, and moving the bike in as well. No tanks out of both players yet, just bikes for the time being. Plague going for these 2 properties right here. And let's see what it deploys this time around. He goes for his first tank. So he goes for the tank here. Now, when you board your CO into a CO unit, that actually costs money. It costs 50% of the deployment cost of the tank. So you board your CO into a tank that's going to cost you 3,500. This is very, very important to keep in mind. So there is a cost to losing your CO unit, aside from just the unit itself, you gotta pay more money to get your CO into a new unit. So this will punish you a little bit if you play recklessly with your unit. So Dorchos here has 12k in the bank. I'm expecting him to build a tank as well and board Tabata into this tank in short order. So the question is, where is he going to deploy it? Is he going to deploy it on the left side to counter this tank, or is he just going to focus on his strong side? And there you go. He goes for the tank on the right side base. So Plague now has this tank right here, and Dorchos has his tank right here. And I'm assuming they're both going to load their CO units into this tank. That's exactly what happens right here. You can see Lin has been loaded into this tank. You can see the CO zone. This is a little glowy zone around the tank here. It'll boost ground units with 20% firepower and defense. It's a very, very powerful boost. And of course, the CO unit itself also ranks up to max rank, meaning it too gets a 20% boost to firepower and defense. So this tank is a 40% improved tank in terms of firepower and defense. Very, very scary. So let us see what Dorchoas does to respond to this. First engagement being taken here. Plague taking out the infantry on the city with a bike and an infantry of his own. And builds another tank right here. That's not really going to be able to stand up to Tabata, but we'll see what Dorchoas decides to do right here. Goes for the captures in the middle. Probably going to load Tabata into this tank, I imagine. Pulls back a little bit over here. Yeah, there you go. Tabata is loaded in. So you can see Tabata's CO zone is very small. It only encompasses the tank itself. But if he gets enough kills with this unit, the zone will eventually rank up and get one range. And at that point, it becomes very scary. Once your zone ranks up a second time, that's when your power is going to be ready. And you can pop your power the turn after you get your CO power ready. Or sorry, the turn after you rank up to second level. So Dorchoas builds an anti-air here. He's probably expecting some kind of... you can actually click the properties to see the units. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't actually know you could do that. That's really cool. So yeah, air units are pretty similar. There's this new unit called the Duster, which I think no one ever builds. And bombers are cheaper in this game too, which is kind of nice. So Days of Plague right here, or Plague, going immediately after this bike unit right here. And he's now focusing a lot of his attention up here. He should probably get an anti-air out, because this airport is very likely that Dorchoas will build a battlecopter of some kind. But Days of Plague going really aggressively after his opponent's base right here. Interrupts the cap over here, the radar tower. And also builds a battlecopter right here. And a mech, interestingly enough. So mechs, I think they work pretty much similarly to how they work in on the Lustrous Web. They're a little cheaper though, at 2,500. All right, Dorchoas, let's see what he does. Oh, interesting. Actually goes after the CO unit with this mech. I mean, keep in mind this tank is very hard to kill, but it might still be worthwhile to do some damage to it to reduce Tabata's firepower early on. Oh, sorry. I mixed it up right there. My bad. Lin's tank. So Dorchoas is going against the Lin tank right here to damage it and reduce its potency a little bit. If this was a Tabata tank, the mech probably would have died. And it looks like Dorchoas is building that battlecopter right here. And Plague actually does not have an anti-air on the side. So this is actually going to be a bit of a problem. Goes for the interrupt right here. And yeah, that Tabata tank is moving in right now. That's going to be an absolute menace. Anti-air coming in to lock down the airport. Look at that. The airport is now completely locked down. Let us see what Plague does to respond to this. Goes on the offense. Doesn't really care about the battlecopter at all. And I believe he just ranked up his CO zone right there, so you could see that. You can see the energy right here. It says 30. Once your energy reaches 30, you will rank up your CO zone by 1 zone. So now, this tank will buff everyone within this tile. And if you get your CO up to 60, then you can pop your CO power. So this is pretty smart. Of course, there is a battlecopter here, so we do need to see an anti-air at some point. But Plague is just going hard over here. I'm expecting an anti-air. No, a tank. Oh my god, he just doesn't... Okay, he builds the anti-air here. Interesting choice. He's playing defensively over on this side. Alright, interesting movements right here. Builds the Anti-Air kind of far away from the Battlecopter, and now its CO unit is directly in range. If Tabata didn't have a CO unit loaded in here, she could have loaded it into this Battlecopter and went absolute ham. But you gotta also be careful. Look how exposed the HQs are. You really, like, Tabata is very close to Plague's HQ right here, so a very scary match already. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, almost kills the CO unit entirely. Another Battlecopter comes out here. Yeah, this is going to be difficult for Plague. A tank comes out as well, and look at that. HQ immediately under threat. Infantry moving in right now. And that incredibly deadly Tabata tank is prowling on Plague's doorsteps. Yeah, this is... If I was Plague right now, I'd be sweating. This is looking very scary. 2 infantry and a tank out of Dorchoas. Alright, Plague. Anti-Air is a bit out of position. Let's see what he does. He's moving his units towards his HQ. He builds a bomber. That's smart. That bomber will actually be able to cover the HQ exactly. And he just keeps attacking over here. Keeps wiping out units. Anti-Air is coming in. Imagine if that Anti-Air was built here instead. That'd be a lot better. He has to guard his CO unit, and that's a very smart thing that he does right here. He joins a tank into his CO unit. That ranks it up to max rank. If you join 2 units together in Days of Ruin, they retain their highest rank of the unit that you join together. This is very smart. You want to retain this CO zone. This is a very valuable CO zone right here. And, yeah, 33 energy right now out of 60. So he's getting very close to getting his power. Powers build up very quickly in Days of Ruin when they start building up, but you can still go entire games without seeing a single CO power pop, which is kind of funny. Alright, Dorchoas' turn. Let's see what he wants to do here. With this bomber coming out of the airport, I really don't see this attack continuing. He still has a very scary unit here with Tabata. But let's see what he can do. So he starts by attacking. He one-shots this unit immediately. You can see that generated 10 energy. So 2 more kills like that, and Dorchoas will have his first CO zone. So he's not going for the HQ, but he's just going for a bunch of captures in the center. You can see, by the way, the income is listed here. Plague has 20k, Dorchoas has 19k. Their unit is here. Their current funds, their unit, their property count. And also you can see the zone as well. Zone 2, Zone 0. You know, just explaining the UI a little bit for those of you who may be new here. Oh wow, this bike is max rank. That's really funny. So this bike has racked up 3 kills, which is kind of funny. But so far, Dorchoas is doing a good job. These 2 Battlecopters are being absolute menaces right here. Anti-Air coming out. Tank and bike. So with the Anti-Air coming in, let's see what Plague can do here. Bomber comes out to protect the HQ. Goes for this city, which has also strangely been left uncaptured all game. Moves into the mountains. Protects his bike, joins into the bike. Yeah, in Days of Ruin, it is actually pretty smart to join units together if you have highly ranked units, because again, this is a bike with 20% extra firepower and defense. That's kind of valuable, and inside the CO zone it gets boosted even further. So you definitely want to try and... I really like the rank up system in Days of Ruin. It really incentivizes you to keep units alive. Ooh, Tabata's on the prowl again. So the tank takes out another unit, and the Battlecopter is coming in. This is a rank 2 Battlecopter right now. And Tabata has 20 energy, so she's very close to ranking up her CO zone, and that's something you really do not want. But yeah, Dorchoas is doing a good job here. Moving in the bike. And now also attacking in air. He kills one of his units, funnily enough. Utilizing the CO zone right here. So now, yeah, Dorchoas is really attacking here. 3 tanks. He's going to go super aggressive here. So let's see what Plague does now. In comes the tank. Ooh, he's building up a lot of energy, actually. He's up to 44 out of 60. Is he actually going to be... Oh, he goes... Oh, my God. And he gets the battlecopter! He gets the battlecopter, and the bomber comes in as well. So now, Plague actually has a charge up CO Zone. You cannot pop the CO power the same turn you get it. You have to wait. So if Dorchoas is able to kill this tank right now, he can stop the CO power. But if he doesn't, Plague will probably pop it next turn and get a universal boost to all of his units, which is very, very scary. In comes the bike. And the CO Zone is massive right now. And Plague is actually front switching his entire army over on his weak side, or sorry, over on his strong side. He's probably going to get wiped out here, though. Tank is coming in. Recon? Interesting. A recon. And he's also capturing the airport? A little puzzle as to what this recon is going to do, but let's find out, shall we? Alright, Dorchoas. Is Dorchoas going to be able to take out the CO units? He's... Oh, interesting. So yes, oh, that's scary right now. You see that? So Tabita has just charged up her CO Zone to 1. And this CO Zone overlaps now with Plague CO Zone. So if she can attack with a unit from here, she's going to deal a lot of damage. Oh, look at that. 7 damage. And it looks like Plague is going to lose his CO unit, I think. No? He's not taking it out? Interesting. I guess maybe the reason he didn't go for the kill here is because he would have left his own CO unit exposed, maybe? I'm not really sure. I mean, I think taking out the CO unit would have been a good move here. I mean, he has a bomber covering it, so maybe Dorchoas is just scared that he would have lost his own CO unit. And I guess his CO unit is a lot more valuable than his opponent's. Alright, Plague's turn. He should have some good avenues of attack here. He has the battlecopter. Again, just look, his CO Zone is so massive right now. It pretty much covers all of his units. And he has a bomber, too, that can come in. So let's see what he does. He moves his... Oh, okay, yeah, he pops his CO power. So, it gives vision, but that, of course, doesn't matter in this matchup. So this is a 20% firepower and defense boost to his entire army. You can see these little S's showing up here to indicate. So he has a turn of very high firepower here. Let's see what he can do with it. Takes out the infantry, in comes the tank. Ooh, the bomber dealing a lot of damage right here. This is a rank 2 bomber right now. Very scary. He actually moves away from the CO Zone and just attacks elsewhere. And yeah, just kind of front switches away from Tabita and just attacks elsewhere, which is really, really good. And Plague is looking pretty strong right now. Look at that. 26 units to his opponent's 15. That's a strong turn. But of course, Tabita's zone, she has 37 energy. Very close to getting that very devastating Firestorm power. So let's see what Dorchoas does now. Has to have some kind of response to this bomber, I think, because this bomber is just terrifying right now. Tabita snatches up another kill, now has 44 energy. Ooh. Yeah, the CO Zone is so devastating once it starts building up. In fact, many Tabita players likes to just sit on their 2 CO Zone because it is just such a valuable zone to have. You don't really want to waste it. Of course, once you pop your CO power, your CO Zone goes down to its regular levels the turn after. But yeah, I mean, Dorchoas doing a good job defending himself. This bomber is still wrecking havoc, though. He built an anti-air, but I think he might need another one. Alright, so yeah, oh my goodness. Plague just comes in. This is a max rank bomber right now. Look at that. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And in fact, I think I'm noticing something kind of interesting about my overlay right now, which I kind of want to fix, because I noticed that it actually goes out like this. There you go. Now you can actually see. One thing I actually noticed here is that it says attack defense plus 25%, so maybe Tiny Wars actually has slightly different... In the base game, I'm pretty sure it was 20%. Oh, or maybe it... Interesting. 25-25? 25-35? I mean, it might be counting terrain tiles, probably? Oh yeah, it includes the defense from the terrain. Okay, I see. Ah, okay. Attack. I don't know why it says 5%. Oh, comm towers. Right. I completely forgot to talk about comm towers, ladies and gentlemen. So, comm towers work a little bit differently in Days of Ruin compared to Advanced Wars by Web. I thought these were radar towers. My bad. Again, I'm not... Days of Ruin is not these are radar towers. So comm towers actually boost attack and defense by 5% each, instead of on Advanced Wars by Web, where they just give 10% firepower. As a result, that's why it says 25% attack and defense on this unit right here, because it actually counts the comm tower and the terrain. This is actually a pretty cool way to do it. You can see right here, 521. It actually even accounts for the unit being damaged and reducing terrain defense, which is really cool. So yeah, you can see right here, 5% from the comm tower, 15% from the terrain. If we hover over the rank 1 unit, you can see it's 10, 15. Do we have a rank 2 unit anywhere here? Not that I can see. Anyway, it's an interesting... Like, I like that the site calculates this. It even shows the boost within the zone right here. So you can see this unit right now has 95% defense and 85% firepower. So it's very, very strong. Kind of cool to do this. And I love that it shows the reduced defense values based on HP. Really, really cool. Again, the site is really good. Like, whoever designed this site, it's pretty smart. So right now, Plague has his own max rank tank right here. Coming in with his own tank. Tries to heal up a little bit. We'll probably combine a unit. Oh no, double artillery. Okay, he's going for the base lock, I think. I'm not really sure. Artillery here, I mean, he's got 3 artillery. I mean, it is standard. Artillery is good in standard, especially if you can manage them well. But man, interestingly enough, it seems like Plague just left his bomber in range of the Antire. I guess it's because with the improved defense, maybe the bomber will just kill the Antire? Oh, you can actually see the values right here. Another amazing thing about this site, by the way. You want to see how a unit does against another unit? You just do this. You can just do this. Sorry, wait, how did I do that? How did I do that? Oh, there you go. That's how you do it. Okay, so you gotta select the unit and then you gotta drag it in. You can actually move it around. Again, this is such a well-made site. I really like it. So if you do this, you can see, for example, how much damage it would deal here. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Could be my colorblindness. I'm sure there is a way to do it. Yeah, they might have to be in range for you to check, but yeah. If we actually look at the damage forecast right here, we can see that the Antire deals 58 damage and will take 46. It is a cost-effective engagement, but he also nukes his own Antire in the process. So I don't know if it's a smart thing to do. Ooh. Dorchoa's going for the comm tower right now and moving in with that incredibly scary CO zone. Yeah, he's going for it right now. He's going for the base. And he does go for the Antire attack right here, severely reducing the bomber's capability. 7-4 is actually a lot better than I expected. But Days of Plague is not interested. He's just going for it, man. His CO unit is severely out of position, though, but he's going in hard on this side, capturing the comm tower now. Yeah, he's going all in. He's going to lock down these bases right here. And he still has a significant unit lead over his opponent, 24-14. That is pretty crazy. Builds an anti-tank. This is a pretty strong unit right here. It can deal with pretty much all ground vehicles. It is weak to air units, though. And it's actually also pretty weak to mechs, apparently. Tank comes out here, and actually, Plague base skips right here. I think he's conceded that these bases will fall to Tabata's aggression. Tabata's tank is actually dangerously low in fuel right now, 28 fuel. Units in Days of Ruin actually have far lower fuel and ammo values. So you'll actually see them run out of fuel a lot quicker than you might otherwise expect. So Dorchoas is doing a good job defending here. Even kills a battlecopter, which is pretty smart. But Days of Plague has a terrifying attack here. Again, his CO unit is still grossly out of position. He needs to get it in on the action right now. So artillery attacks, bomber flies in, deals damage to the anti-tank. Recon even helping out a little bit here. And he has successfully locked away this base right now. And he's going in hard. Just imagine if the CO unit was part of the attack, though. But yeah, looks like we have a base trade scenario right here. But it's kind of weird because they're both attacking each other's strong side. Like, this is Dorchoa's weak side. I mean, I guess he does have the airport, but still. It's a very interesting match. So both players are just trying to do as much damage to the other person's attack as they can, while also trying to rush down their opponent's bases. Duster! Wow. It's the first time I see a Duster built. These units are apparently quite memey, or so I've heard. They're cheap. They're cheaper versions of fighters and bombers. They do very little damage to vehicles. As you can see right here, 5 damage, 8 damage. They do decent damage to infantry and other air units, but that's pretty much about it. A Duster. Very interesting. I guess they are a decent counter to battlecopters. Alright, here comes Dorchoas. He has now successfully locked down the base. And his energy is actually at max right now, ladies and gentlemen. He has the Firestorm. He can pop it next turn if he wants to. So yeah, we are seeing a base race here for both players. This is going to turn into a left versus right battle very, very soon. Plague going in right here, takes down the anti-tank, moves his infantry forward. He's going to start capturing those bases, using the air units to block the bases so no more reinforcements can come out. Very smart. Meanwhile, his pulling back here has to be careful of his own CO unit. But he has to be very careful right now because that Firestorm, like you can see, he's keeping his units spread out to minimize the damage of that Firestorm. Of course, I very much doubt that Dorchoas wants to pop his Firestorm at this moment because, yeah, the damage from it is nice, but you also want to take advantage of the firepower and defense boost globally, so you want to combine it with a push. If he popped it right now, and he's not popping it right now, it seems. If he pops it right now, he's just going to do some damage, and that's going to be it. He wants to combine it with a push. So Plague here is going to finish taking out these. He's capturing the base. He's moving in his anti-tank. He has a Duster, which is really funny. I mean, I guess the Duster is a good counter to the battlecopters, so it's just funny to see them. I didn't know that Dusters were being built in competitive Advanced Wars. Bomber coming out of Plague right now, so he's teching up into the late game. He's going serious, ladies and gentlemen. And he has a big unit lead over his opponent, 26 to 12. That is pretty insane. Big income leader too, 26 to 16k. Because Dorchoas has damaged bikes that are not capturing these bases as quickly. But what he does have is the Tabata superpower, and he's sitting on that. And if he pops it right now, he would have like dealt a huge chunk of damage to all these units. But he's still sitting on it. He's waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I think he just wants to combine it with a mega push. But Plague has such a unit count lead and an income lead over him right now. Oh wow, he combined bombers together to get a fighter. He really wants to counter those battlecopters. Yeah, those battlecopters are scary. I mean, 5 battlecopters out of Dorchoas right now. So getting those Dusters and fighters out is probably a good idea. But Plague is setting up a perfect defense right here. Of course, he needs to be so careful because, again, that Firestorm can come in and just deal a crap ton of damage. Look at this tank right now. 80% attack, 100% defense. Again, that does not mean it's invulnerable in Days of Ruin. Interesting. Dorchoas moving forward again, keeping his CO unit tucked nicely behind his death ball, but this is a scary Tabata death ball right here. Now, Plague may outnumber his opponent, but that death ball is not easy to deal with. Now he's going for the raise. He's going for even more properties. He's got 28 income to his opponent's 14k right now, which is kind of insane. And he has an upgraded CO zone as well. Never mind. It's 1. Tabata is the one with 1 when she upgrades. So it looks like we're about to have a clash here, but again, Plague just has to be so careful with how he positions his units. He cannot bunch them up too much. So we are now on day 21. Are we going to see the power popped? Not quite yet, it seems. This game is very tense. This game is extremely tense. Looks like Dortroas just wants to build up a bigger army first, and now he finally has the 2 bases, so their income should be a bit more equalized soon. But Plague is just, his initiative is just so much better. He's, oh my god, he built missiles. Missiles are buffed in Days of Ruin, by the way. I still think they're a bit of a meme unit, but they actually have better range than rockets. I still think they only have 4 move. Let me actually check. I think I can check, can I? Oh, they have 5 move. Wow. They buffed missiles. They still cost 12k, but they have 5 move, 3 to 6 range. They still move on tires, which is not great. But they one-shot, yeah, they one-shot, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. They one-shot pretty much every single, yeah, they one-shot every air unit in the game. Just gonna make sure I didn't mess up my, my map. No, I didn't, okay. Alright, so we're going to see a huge clash very soon, ladies and gentlemen. The Plague is looking mighty strong here. Ooh, even goes for the anti-air right here. Yeah, I think it might be time to pop that Firestorm soon. Dortroas. But again, Plague has to be so careful. He cannot bunch up his units too much. But he's enjoying a very nice, I mean, 30,000 to 12,000. That is incredible. And builds a rocket. Let's go. This is also very nice with Days of Ruin, by the way. You can select multiple ranges, which is really nice. Alright, we're in day 22. Are we going to see the Firestorm? Yup. There we go. So, Dortroas pops his Firestorm. It deals a huge amount of damage to Plague CO unit. You can see the insane damage that it does right now. And furthermore, every single one of these units now have 60% extra firepower and defense. And he's going for the HQ, I think. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And for a turn right now, Tabata is basically invincible. This is like Samurai Spirit, or close to it. Like, your units are just not going to take that much damage this turn. So let's see what Plague does here. He pulls back his injured units. He understands that he cannot really fight Tabata this turn. He just has to stall. So it's all about being defensive right here. Just pull back. He just has to guard this HQ. This HQ is going to come under attack right now, but he has a massive army here that will reinforce south. But at the same time, he can't really just charge recklessly down either, because then Dortroas can just go north and wipe out this unit, or these forces right here. But Plague just has such a unit count lead right now. Alright, Dortroas. Let's see if he can do something. He goes for the attack. Battlecopter's coming in. Dealing very decent damage right here. Tank comes in as well. His CO zone has reset, so he now needs to start building it up again, and we're probably not going to see it come back online. But this is a scary death ball right now. He's honking his opponent's HQ. He just needs the bike to come a little closer so he can start capturing. And yeah, he's going to go for it. Deploying some bikes. Okay, it is Plague's time to defend. Anti-tanks can actually attack battlecopters, interestingly enough. Fighter comes in. Anti-air. Dusters are actually doing a good job here. And the max rank tank comes in to defend the HQ. The bomber goes on top of the HQ. Beautiful defense by Plague right here. The Firestorm was nasty, but I don't think it is enough, ladies and gentlemen. with no way. I mean, I guess Dorchoas does have several anti-air units. A rank 2 anti-air unit right here. With only 18 fuel left, so he's got to be very careful here. Let's see if Dorchoas can make something happen here. He combines his Battlecopter. Uses the anti-air to attack the other anti-air, which is kind of interesting. You'd think he'd want to kill this bomber, right? Like, he wants to go for the CO unit, and then he resigns. Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So, a pretty intense matchup for sure. Very, very intense matchup for sure, ladies and gentlemen. Very enjoyable matchup, too. Always love seeing my girl Tabata. Seeing a superpower, too. That's very rare. So, hope you guys enjoyed this replay commentary, guys. Let me know if you'd like me to cast more, and if there's any particular COs you'd like to see. I'd love to cast them for you. I'll show one. I'm playing some games on the ladder myself. I'm kind of bad, but I'm trying to get better. So, if I get a good game, maybe I'll cast that as well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.